If you must weep, then weep. I shall be here for you. Well, it would be ridiculous to not feel anything after something like that. Go on and let it out. I am here.
You gotta keep yourself. That's how I got through it when I lost my parents. If you need help with anything, just come and see me. Eating and training are my specialties.
I'm not even close to being strong enough. I mean, Gerald was so much stronger than me, but even he... That's enough. I can't dwell on the past. There's no way to know what my future holds, but I do know one thing. Whatever happens, I have to make my own way in this world. I have to keep pushing so I can grow even stronger.
Hello there, Professor. It is a shame what happened to Gerald. I am sorry. There are no words. Leave some flowers on his grave for me. Hello there.
Captain Gerald's gone. He's gone. And we'd only just reunited. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sure this is even harder on you. But I just can't... I can't believe... I'm so sorry. I never quite know what to say at times like these. Just don't push yourself too hard too soon. It's okay to allow yourself to be sad right now. Losing someone dear to you. Well, each loss is unique, but it's a feeling I know very well. That said, Professor, Hi there!
Hello there.
What do you require? Farewell.
Oh no.
Professor, thank you for all you have done for us. Nothing to report today.
Hey!
I trained with Gerald just the other day. Why? Why did he have to go and die? It's too awful. He didn't deserve it.
Do you have time for a request?
Professor, I brought some flowers for Gerald. It's the least I can do. Sometimes I feel like all I do is run away. Anyway, I'll go lay them out.
I slipped quietly into the vault and rummaged about, looking for anything we might find useful. There is a group of people who want to kill us, after all. What? This is no time for asking permission. I learned long ago that one can ask permission or forgiveness. It is rarely useful to request the former. Still, it appears the knights have already taken everything useful. There were crest-related objects I thought might be worth studying, so there you go again with that stern look. Of course I'll put them back when I'm done, assuming they bear no additional use.
Right. Professor, I've sung lyrics lamenting death many times on stage, but when something like this happens in real life, I'm lost. I don't know what to say, but I do know this much. Sir Gerald must have been very proud to have you as his child.
Professor, I'm sure you will pull through this because you're so strong, Professor. Best to stay calm during such tumultuous and upsetting time. We don't know the nature of our enemies. If we underestimate them, anything could happen. Yes, I agree. I don't want to lose you too, Professor. Unbelievable. I heard Gerald passed away. My deepest condolences. I knew him long before I ever even met you. He was always so much fun to be around. It's such a loss.
The other night, I had the honor of sharing a drink with Gerald. He was pretty tactless, honestly. He could be blunt at times, but he always looked like such a proud, happy father whenever he spoke of you.
Professor, I'm so glad you're okay, Professor. I was so worried. Oh, Professor, you must be starving. Mercy and I made some sweets for you. We were thinking that if you were to eat something sweet, it might help you feel better. Baking sweets is my specialty. I'm sure they'll do the trick. Professor, please lend us your ears. Ferdinand is saying impossible things.
I do not see what is impossible about it. All I said was that if you want to go back to Brigid, you probably can. You are the Empire's guest, so to speak. They cannot afford for something bad to happen to you. There would be a diplomatic incident. Someone close to us has turned up dead. So one could argue that you are not safe here anymore.
You were already told. I am learning here, from the Academy. What are you thinking, Professor? I am not returning to home until I have grabbed my goal. I will not be listening to the words of Ferdinand.
No, look, I did not mean to pressure you. Apologies for the misunderstanding.
Professor, I'm so happy to see you. You're finally returning to your old self. To see the light in your eyes again is a gift. It inspires me to carry on as well. As you know, the Knights are searching furiously for any trace of the enemies who escaped. I'll inform you immediately if I learn anything relevant.
I love to cook. What are we making today? Is that so? I have a lot of experience in the kitchen. I can make just about anything. Wow.
There's more food than I can eat. Professor, Raphael, you're welcome to have some of mine.
Don't listen to him, Professor. Ignatz gets all dizzy if he doesn't eat enough.
I haven't lost a parent yet, so I can't even begin to understand how you must be feeling. But even while you're standing still, the world keeps on moving. I always find that oddly comforting.
Okay.
There is no one here who has not heard tales of Geralt's valor. We have suffered a most dear loss. I do not know what the enemy's aim was, but I do know this. After what they have done, we cannot suffer them to live. If there is anything I can do to ensure that justice is brought swiftly, you need only give the word.
Professor, it seems like you're holding up okay, but I'm worried about Leonie. She really loved Geralt. I hope she can bounce back.
I'll say a prayer for Gerald's soul. There's not much else I can do.
Professor?
Dark expressions don't suit you, Professor. But well, I'm glad to see you out in the world again. It seems this month will be a quiet one around here. There aren't many knights around to liven things up.
Most of the knights are gone, seeking out the enemy.
Isn't that a bit much? I agree it's important, but is it a good idea to neglect the safety of the monastery?
What do you think, Professor? I agree. We can send some knights after our enemies, but so many? It makes the church seem reckless.
Professor? Do you think we'll still be able to graduate if dangerous things keep happening around here? Who even knows? I'm worried. I hope that all the students and professors will be there to celebrate at the graduation ceremony.
Hey.
Maybe. When I heard that Monica was with the enemy, I was surprised by how unsurprised I was. Something was just off about her. It's hard to explain. That said, whenever she had free time, she was always hanging around with Edelgard. I wonder if Edelgard is also... Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm just being paranoid. Please ignore me. Hello. Well...
Excuse me. Not just Tomas, but Monica, too. We can't be sure who to trust anymore, can we? Who are these people, really? What do they want?
Professor. Oh, Goddess, hear my prayer. Please receive this beloved person. When the cold rain washes the body, when the bird and wolf announce the dawn, receive them into your blue blood. Receive them into a twinkling star. That's a morning scripture from the Church of Saros. Lady Rhea taught it to me. I pray that Geralt is happy in the next world.
It's hard to sneak out when the professor is watching.
Am I doing all right? I hope I'm not too off.
Right.
Professor, I'm scared. I feel that I don't understand the world. How could something like that happen to Geralt? He was so strong. You're inspiring, Professor. I'll do my best.
Professor.
Got him! Can I go now? Anywhere I can hide. Got him!
Professor, I'm so sorry about what happened to Gerald. No, of course my sorrow is nothing compared to yours. The Knights are even now searching for our enemy's whereabouts. They are to report back the moment they find something. If you desire revenge, Professor, you can count me in.
First Tomas, and now Monica. I do have a theory, though I admit it is nothing more than speculation. Both Tomas and Monica have each gone missing at one time or another. It was reported that when Monica returned, as if perhaps the real Monica had been killed and replaced by an imposter. Thinking of it like that, it is possible that this Solon had been impersonating Tomas for some time. How they managed such a convincing change of appearance, though, I still do not understand.
Excuse me. Professor, how are you holding up? I know how heavily grief weighs upon one's heart. I lost my mother some time ago. It was... Forgive me my moment of weakness. Even all these years later, I cannot recall that time without feeling the pain as if it were brand new. Just know that I am praying for your mind and your heart to find peace.
Hey, you. Oh, is something hiding just behind that book? That ring! I have seen it before. Ah, I know. Gerald showed that ring to you beside a grave. Do you recall? He said he wished for you to have that ring one day. That means it's yours. He also said that you should gift that ring to someone special.
You've lost someone very dear to you. I'm so... You have my sympathy. Manuela and I can take on some of your workload this month. We can't do all the teaching, but at least we can lighten the load for you. I've always seen strength in your eyes. I know you'll recover. You're a very strong person.
Right. I have something rather uncomfortable to discuss. It's about the weapon that killed Gerald. Will you listen? It was a dagger, but I know enough to know it wasn't an ordinary dagger. It wasn't made of iron or steel because, well, because whatever it was, the wound it left wasn't... Who could make a blade like that, do you figure? I wonder who they were.
Really? Professor, you have lost your father. Now more than ever, do I understand how very lucky I am that you were able to save me. Professor, I deeply appreciate what you have done. Thank you. If there is anything at all I can do in return, please tell me, okay?
I've never been much for condolences. How about a little logic instead? The knights have spread out around Garreg Mach in search of Gerald's murderers. Thus, the monastery's fighting strength is, for the moment at least, depleted. Perhaps that was the enemy's real objective. We should be prepared for further confrontation.
Well...
Monica von Ox. There is nothing suspicious in her past that would suggest this change of character. Her transformation must have something to do with her disappearance last year. Sadly, that is the extent of my knowledge. I wonder who kidnapped her, and why.
First Tomas, and now Monica. I am so sorry. The failing was clearly our own. We didn't notice the enemy's invasion. And now Gerald. I apologize. There is nothing I can say to atone for our sin. Professor, please do not let your guard down even among the people of the monastery. There is no way to know where another enemy may be hiding.
Captain Gerald's been killed? I can't believe it. From all I'd heard about the man, I thought he was indestructible. He was so strong.
What could have possibly... forgive me. I shouldn't speculate.
What's that?
Hey you, listen up. I've got something to report. But maybe now isn't the time? You seem down. Got something on your mind? I hope you know I'm here for you if you ever have your own stuff to report. That's what friends are for. Unless it's about money, in which case, I'm busy.
Okay. This month feels different, doesn't it? Garrick Mock's all tense, like the whole place might explode. This is why I've kept to myself all these years. I don't want to be anywhere near whatever's about to happen.
Need something? See you again soon.
Professor?
Hey, pal. I see you're up and at 'em again, yeah? Good on you. No use crying over the past and all.
Balthus, have some sensitivity. Who knows what the poor dear is going through right now?
That poor dear can hear you, you know. Talking about someone like they're not there. How cold can you get?
A fair point. Please, Professor, forgive my indiscretion. You have my condolences.
Remember, the first step to healing is a hefty dose of revenge. Get out there and get to it.
Gerald raised you, yeah? He was all you had. You must be feeling a lot right now. When a parent dies, it really leaves a mark. So feel what you need to, no matter how that looks. But know that your inner fire will keep you moving ahead through even the hardest times.
Hey, it seems like you're having a hard time. Not that I can really understand what you're going through. I know that this is painful, but don't lose hope for the future, okay? Someday you'll be able to accept what's happened. And in the meantime, you have plenty of friends here to support you. Me included. Hey, I know that someday... Whoa. I was sure I'd never... Nope, not...
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much! Thank you so much.
Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Professor. I'm so glad you're okay, Professor. I was so worried. Oh, we were thinking...
Oh, that! I thought I was gone for good. How did you...
I'm just losing some. That said. Yes, that's mine. Thank you very much. I've been looking for it.
There's no... Yes. There's not... There's not much... We were thinking this. Oh, this... Professor, but when but Sir Gerald. How did you know it?
Professor? It seems most of the... Isn't that a bit...
That's mine. Thank you for finding it.
Professor, I'm scared. Oh, that...
Captain Gerald, I'm sorry. Oh, that's my...
Really?
First, it was reported as if thinking of it like how they managed. I'm sorry. Yes, this is mine. Thank you for returning it.
Excuse me. Well... Hey, you. Professor. You have lost your father. No more, Professor. If there is any... Oh!
Right. I wonder... Wherever did this turn up? Thank you. I wonder...
Professor! Hey, Professor, did I ever tell you what happened with that thief? I went after him, and I did manage to catch up, but... Oh no, I captured him easily. I'm pretty quick on my feet, you know. But I decided not to make him pay for the book. My pockets were pretty empty after that incident, if you want to know the truth. Oh, what happened was, when I caught him, I asked him why he stole the book. He said he thought it would fetch a good price and that he really needed the money. He had a sick kid and couldn't pay for medicine. Oh, maybe you're right. But if he really did have a sick child, that would be a matter of life and death. A little money is nothing compared to that. I'd rather believe a lie than risk someone's life if I'm wrong. And to be completely honest, there was a time when I wasn't so different from him. It was a long time ago, and I've put all that behind me now. But yes, I was. My parents died of illness, so I had to provide for my little brother and sister. I did my best to earn money for them legitimately, but I wasn't able to bring home enough. So I turned to thieving. From people on the streets, from shops, even from soldiers. I knew it was wrong, but seeing my brother and sister's smiling faces made me too happy to stop. I really regret that part of my life. I was stupid. But shortly after I turned 9, I crept into a local noble's mansion, aiming to steal whatever I could get my hands on. The noble had all sorts of valuables, but what really caught my eye was a book with a fancy cover. That book was Lug and the Maiden of Wind. The knight in the illustrations was so impressive I just couldn't tear my eyes away. You probably see where this is going. Moments after I grabbed the book, I was caught in the act by the noble. And that noble was none other than Lenato. But Lenato was incredibly kind. Without asking any questions, he gave me the book, and money too. When I told him I couldn't read, he invited me into his mansion, along with my brother and sister. He taught me how to read, personally. So, with the thief I caught in town, I was trying to do the same thing, to be like Lenato. I want to make up for the bad things I've done, to leave this world better than I found it. That's why, even if it wasn't easy on my pockets, I'm proud to say I helped him. I know what you're trying to say. My contribution probably won't change much. And it's not like I have the money to help everyone who's suffering from poverty. Even so, I can't bear to stand by and do nothing. What else could I have done, Professor?
Anyway.
Professor?
Interesting.
Hey!
I knew him long before I ever even met you. He was always so much fun to be around. It's such a loss. This isn't... That's...
Professor.
Yeah,
Could I at least persuade you to eat with utensils?
Eyes on your own plate. Don't you know it's disrespectful to waste food?
Ah, damn! It's been too long since I've finagled a meal like this. What could be better?
Lose another bet? That might be a silly question. You just seem more enthusiastic than usual about your food.
All right, time to sneak off and do some painting. Professor, such lovely weather today, huh? I was, just about to go for a walk. What, this? No, it's, I'm sorry, Professor. I'll admit it. I was going to do some painting. You remember the place where we talked before? I've been painting the scenery there. I'm still keeping up with my academics and training, of course. I just paint in my spare time, as a change of pace. Oh, you're not? Ah, well, yes, I suppose you're not. I may have gotten ahead of myself. I'm sorry for panicking there. Honestly, I'm just worried that my father will find out that I've been painting. Of course. Why would you go out of your way to tell him that? Completely illogical of me. But it seems I've developed a bit of a complex about it. My father's not a fan of my artistic pastime, you see. We're a merchant family, and my older brother is set to inherit the business. As for me, my father decided I should be a knight. That's why I'm at the academy. Painting won't help me become a knight. It's a waste of time. Well, yes. I feel like I'm betraying my parents. I hear the business has been slow for them over the past few years. If I become a knight for an influential noble house, I could use my connections to help support them. My father was determined to send me here. He must have been, considering the enormous amount of money he spent. I don't think I'm well suited to being a knight. My parents sent me to the academy for their sake, not my own. When I think about how hard my family is working just to stay in business, how can I sit idly by? All of which is just to say that painting will have to remain my little hobby. Nothing more. Not that I could make a career out of it even if I wanted to. That's just a fantasy. What the?
Hello there. This one, yes? I thank you. Return soon, please.
Hey, welcome. You have a good eye. A pleasure doing business with you. You have a good eye. A pleasure doing business with you. Come again.
Hello there. This one, yes? I thank you. Return soon, please.
There is no one. I do not know if there is any. Oh my, this is love.
Oh, Professor. I didn't realize you were there. If we keep running into each other like this, people will start to talk. They'll say, Sylvain and the Professor are on the prowl. Forget it. What do you need? I fell for that girl recently, but I just wanted to have some fun and leave it at that. So, I told her we should break it off. I guess she was feeling a little more serious than I was. She started crying, and everything got a bit complicated. Come on, Professor. Playing around with girls is the most fun a guy can have. Besides, I don't care what you think of me. I don't intend to change how I live my life. I'm a good-for-nothing, if you haven't noticed. But I'm still a noble with a crest. That's all anyone cares about. It's best to avoid getting too serious with fools like that. It only leads to trouble. I'm gonna be forced into an arranged marriage with some random noble woman anyway. By the way, Professor, you didn't know you had a crest, did you? I see. I suppose a mercenary wouldn't be concerned with such things. Most children who are born to noble families are tested upon birth to see if they bear one. Even descendants of the 10 elites, like myself, can't be legitimate heirs without a crest. That means as children, we're only accepted if we're born with one. The heads of most noble houses keep having kids until they get one with a crest. Those children then grow up to be heads of their houses, and the vicious cycle continues. Do you get it now? To all these commoner girls, I'm just a trophy. Or rather, a stud horse. Perhaps, but that doesn't change the fact that these girls don't love me. They only love the potential rewards of loving me. If I marry a girl, and she gives birth to a child with a crest, that kid might become the next head of House Gati. But nowadays, with the bloodlines getting weaker, there are a lot of kids like my brother, born with no hope. For ages now, those of us with crests have been envied and desired, but never for who we are. I understand the value of my blood. Believe me, I hate how much I understand it. I know better than to dream of being free from this burden. I'm used to it by now. I used to think I didn't have the right to live freely. That's right. You know what? I'm a bit jealous. The whole time you were growing up, you never knew you had a crest. You were free. Nobody pretended to like you. I kind of hate you for that. You were a spoiled brat who should pay for that crest. Maybe I'll collect the debt. Gotcha! Wow, you should have seen the look on your face just then. Don't mind me, Professor. After all, ladies love a dark and brooding noble.
gotta keep yourself active during tough times, Professor. Even if it seems impossible. That's how I got through it when I lost my parent. If you need help with anything. Is this for me? Is this for... Is... You got... That's how I... If you need help... Is this for me? You got it. That's how I... If you need help... Thanks!
I'm sorry. No. No. I'm sorry. No. No.
Professor.
Okay.
Professor. Hey, Professor. Got a minute? Look, I'm sorry I snapped at you. I didn't mean to lose my temper. I was rude to you. I should have known better. Huh, I thought you might say that. In that way, you're just like Captain Gerald. You accept other people. You don't let petty details get under your skin. Well, when I was a kid, I kind of latched onto him. I've been calling myself his apprentice ever since. He spent some time in the village I grew up in. Actually, you weren't with him back then. Why not? Huh. Maybe he left you with a relative or something. Anyway, back then, Gerald's job was to deal with poachers. Well, they were bandits, but we called them poachers. Nobody in the village could stand up to them. But your dad, he took them on like it was nothing. I was so impressed. All I could think was how amazing mercenaries were. I'd lived in that tiny village my whole life, so to me, Captain Gerald was nothing short of a legend. So I went right up to him and I told him I was going to be his apprentice. He didn't stick around long after that, but he did teach me a lot while he was with us. Tactics, strategy, training routines, it was all so new and exciting. So after he left, I kept at it, kept training, just like he taught me. Me too. I always planned to meet him again once I became a top-tier mercenary. But I'm just glad I got to see him, to thank him properly and all. I've spent my whole life working to become a great mercenary like your father. There were so many times when I wanted to ask his advice, but I couldn't. I just had to make do. That's how I've made it this far. Just hard work, all on my own. But then you come along, and it's like you don't appreciate Captain Gerald at all, or how lucky you were to have him around your whole— No, it still really bothers me. You might be his kid, but I'm still his best apprentice. Got it?
Hello.
Professor. Great timing, Professor. I was just going to come find you. Are you busy? I have a question about formations. I don't understand them at all. Are the speed of battle and the terrain connected somehow? There's too much to memorize. I don't? Then what do I have to know? I think I understand the basics. To start, you just... Ah, okay. I think I've got it. Thanks for the help, Professor. Brains and brawn. You've really got it all. With your help, I should have no trouble becoming a proper knight. Huh? Didn't I tell you? My parents were merchants of the Alliance. They died in an accident. That's why it's up to me to look after my little sis. I'm not great with bookkeeping, so I don't think I'd make a good merchant. I talked to Grandpa, and he suggested I become a knight. So I sold all our valuables and used the money to pay my way into the academy. My sis won't survive if I get kicked out, so I can't give up now. I might have tried being a mercenary if I didn't have my little sis to look after. I probably shouldn't say this, but being a mercenary does sound like an easier life. Mercenaries have no responsibilities, and no one else to worry about. But someone's gotta take care of my little sis, so that's out of the question. Serving as a knight in a noble house is more secure, and you don't have to worry about dying unless there's a war. My sis has been through so much. I don't want her to have to worry about me. Hey, do you have any siblings, Professor? Then you probably think I'm missing out on my freedom, having to support her, huh? But working hard for my sister isn't too bad. Call it a burden, call it a challenge. If it makes my sister happy, I'm happy too. You've got my sympathy. Really. Not having any siblings, I mean. Anyway, that's why I've got to become a proper knight.
Professor, have you been looking for me again? I am very busy, you know. I must insist that disruptions for light-hearted chats of this kind be kept to a minimum. What did I tell you about falling victim to such salacious and slanderous rumors? As I've told you, there is obviously a conspiracy against me. There is no manner in which I could possibly be considered bothersome. Professor, I assure you, you have been deceived. My adversary has poisoned the hearts of these ladies against me. The plot goes deeper than I thought. But if you truly do insist, please understand, Professor. I am not some scoundrel out for conquest. I am attempting to fulfill my duty as heir of House Gloucester. It is my responsibility to continue our noble line by finding a suitable lady to be my wife. It is a rigorous process. My family has the very highest standards for appearance, grace, temperament, and pedigree. Typically, yes, even if others are sometimes critical of that notion. For the nobility, marriage is not merely a union of individuals, it is also a union of families. It would not benefit House Gloucester to be tied to a family of powerless commoners, would it? To achieve supremacy, it is necessary for my line to be tied to that of an influential family. That is the best path to peace and prosperity for all of Fodlan. So as you can see, the fate of the whole world rests upon my shoulders. If it is a burden, it is one I am all too familiar with. We nobles are born to this duty. That being said, to avoid misunderstandings, I shall restrain myself until things calm down. I would rather not cause trouble for you after all.
Professor. Professor.
You see, I shall accept as much praise. You see, you see. Would you look? Would you look?
Thanks for... Thanks for... No. I am... No.
There's something... that might work.
Teacher.
Professor, I have a request for you. Would you accept me into your class? I'm sure I would learn so much more if I could study with you. Will you give me that chance? I can? Thank you! You won't regret this. I'm going to give it my all.
Just leave this to us.
We'll be all right. Hey, we did pretty well.
I think I got... It is so much fun to sing with others.
Not sure I should sing with everyone. I'm not great at harmonizing.
The glory of progress.
I'm pleased to have been invited. I adore this. Thank you for preparing my favorite tea. I am grateful. Yes. 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 I see. Have you grown accustomed to living in the monastery? Of course. Yes. Of course. This crown is rather elaborate, but it has been passed down through generations of archbishops. Professor. Of course. This crown is rather... How quickly this delightful time has passed. However, we must return to our work.